And we are live. Welcome back to the
Hey,
set, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing, Super Ray?
how you doing, Super Alex? Well, I'm doing great. I just got back from running an errand, and we are here at our new time, 12, uh, 12 p.m. Eastern. What time is it over there? In
It is 9 a.m.
9 a.m.
Pacific.
That's commitment right there. That is commitment. 9
You know
a.m.
how we do it, man. Consistent every single weekend. And just like what we do every single weekend, we're going to play you guys in, set you guys up straight. There you go.
Bring that energy up.
Let's hype them up. Let's
Woo!
hype 'em up. Let's go. Let's go. I think I can turn this up just a little bit louder. There you
All
go. There
right,
you
all right.
go.
I hear it. I hear it.
All right. All right. So,
Woo!
Super Ray, we are back in the business temple. And for this week's episode, we are going to talk about making change easy for you
Ooh.
using Greek philosophy. Now, can you please reveal to us, Ray, what our ancient Greek philosophy quote for today is?
So today we're going to be talking about Heraclitus. I think I'm pronouncing him right, or I'm pronouncing him wrong, but it's Heraclitus and
Heraclitus.
Heraclitus.
There you
Okay,
go.
so we're gonna be talking about Heraclitus. Heraclitus. Apologies, guys.
You'll
English
get
is
it.
not the first language, but Heraclitus. And today we're gonna be talking about how to make change and easy using Greek philosophy. And yeah, we're going to be talking about his philosophy, his concepts, and how you can apply that in business today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Super Ray. And before we even get into it, ladies and gentlemen, please head over to our Facebook, YouTube channel. If you have not subscribed yet, subscribe to us. We are consistent every single Saturday, new time, like what Ray mentioned earlier, 9 a.m. PT, 12 p.m. Eastern, where we talk about the marriage of ancient philosophy and business. Today makes no difference. We are going to be talking about Heraclitus.
Yeah.
That name is going to be juggled around for the entire episode, and let's see how that goes. And we're going to be specifically talking about one of his quotes, which has been paraphrased over the millennia, and that quote is "going with the flow." I believe Heraclitus says something different originally. It has something to do with a river, right, Ray?
Yes, I'm looking up the quote right now, and just so I can make sure it is the correct one. It says, "No man ever steps in the same river twice, for it is not the same river, and he is not the same man." And
There you
I
go.
personally love that quote. I think that in his saying and in his belief and his teachings is that when things are constantly in motion, the world moves around us in in an ever changing way. So for I apologize for any flat earthers out there, but yes, we do rotate on an axis. We spin around the sun, and we are
Yes, we
constantly
do.
moving. We're changing, and no man ever steps in the same river twice, because that's the natural flow of things. You can't go against nature. You can't go against what has already been uh, ordained, or I guess destined. And the way I see it is that not everybody's experiences are going to be the same. Even if you step into, let's say, the Colorado River, you're stepping into that, and another person behind you steps into that same river, but you're not going to experience it the same. Not the
That makes
you're not.
absolute sense.
Yeah. So that's how I think of this quote when I hear the phrase "No man ever steps in the same river twice," and even when you come back, you don't step
It's
in
just
that same
different.
river. It's just different.
You're not only are you different, but the river is different as well, right? To
Yeah.
me, what that sounds like is it's like relinquishing control.
Mm,
I feel like I mean, especially when I became an entrepreneur all those years ago, I felt like my life has become so regimented and so structured, lots of routine in place. Well, simply because I needed that to succeed as an entrepreneur. But at the same time, I also feel like I needed a little bit of uncertainty.
mm,
You know what I mean? Having to. not know what to expect, being open to surprises, and just letting go of many things that I always attempt to control. You know, like my time, my schedule, sometimes other people's times. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
just going with the flow. That's what it for me. That's what it means. Just letting go of some control,
I
and
guess
it's a
we under,
liberating feeling.
to be honest, Alex, I think we understand it in a different way because for me, I think like Huawei is more of like going with the flow, going with nature.
Mm-hmm.
That philosophy and that teaching is for me is more of in that regard of going with the flow. Like, but when it comes to Heraclitus, he he reminds me of the natural order of things. That's what he really reminds me of. And when it comes to business and the cutthroat businesses, even so, it's all about war and fighting
Mm-hmm.
and doing so, but also understanding that this there are certain things that you can't change. So I get it when you say going with the flow and understand that there's a, a way where even if you force it, it's not going
Mm-hmm.
to happen in that way. But I think in more Wu Wei is where I think going with the flow is for Heraclitus.
Uh huh.
I
You're
think
getting it.
so of that tension between, let's say, yourself, competitors, other businesses. That's what I think of.
That's so interesting to to put into perspective. It's like so we have this one philosophy, and you guys and the two of us. There's just different points of view. It's like the six and the
Mhm.
nine, and we're across from each other.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? Does that make sense?
I think so because in a way I feel like is like we can read the same book but get different. And then I guess this is pretty much the same thing that he speaks about when we think about his teaching says everything is constantly changing and then the opposites are identical so that everything is and is not at the same time. That's one of his other quotes.
Huh? That's
And
meta.
yeah, it's pretty meta, and you're like, huh, what the hell is he trying to say? For me, it's like, okay, I can read the same book that you're reading, but we'll have two totally different experiences, even though that same material, that same information is available
Yep.
to both of us.
Yep. No. Now, once you put it that way, I fully get it. So what I also feel like comes from Heraclitus's quote there with the river is I think it has a lot to do with acceptance
Mm,
as well. Being able to accept life, change, other people. I mean, since we're already talking about the river and the friction that it has and everything, and that change is constant, I feel like being able to accept that will help you become more productive, will work for your well being and stuff like that. Because imagine not being able to go with the flow.
mm.
You don't have. Let's prompt that question for a second.
Not being
Especially,
able to go with the flow. What do you
yeah,
mean by that?
not being able to go with the flow, not being able to adapt or advance, progress, not being able to step in the river and just go with that flow. For example, in the entrepreneurial world, we are constantly adapting, aren't we? There's AI coming up now. There's a lot of digital software and digital marketing and social media coming about. If you did not go with that flow as a business owner, then you might have been left behind.
Mm.
So I think it has a lot to do with acceptance, change, and progress as well.
I see. Yeah, I
That
this is gonna
river.
be one of those episodes where we're not gonna see eye to eye on many things because
Oh, shoot
I
me. Go.
I think there should be uh, a differentiation between okay acceptance
Mm,
of what's new, what's coming, but it's also knowing that okay, not everything new is good, not everything new is great. Just because we're moving towards a more digitalized world where AI has taken the spotlight in most cases and in many businesses, I would actually argue that with AI and those tool sets, we're actually diminishing our own skill sets and actually putting us at a disadvantage. Because
Ah,
imagine yourself and you're looking for work. What kind of work are you looking for that now at this point when you're a tech person cannot be done automatically or be done via AI? Look at all the people that are getting fired right now in the tech industry, where much of it's the software engineers, the people that studied for years to become these great programmers are now being replaced by AI. And uh, website designers, you can just go onto a site and then create your own website easier than ever before. You don't need a real web designer to create a
yeah,
decent
that's
website.
true.
That's all being taken over by AI. I think we lose the artistic values and our artistic self when we allow ourselves to just go with whatever new and upcoming.
That was powerful, man. That was, where do you pull that out from? That was wisdom right there. Don't your artistic self could fade if you just continue to just go with the flow.
Yeah, and I because I think of it also in like my own business and working in digital marketing for a long
Hmm.
time. Marketing changes pretty much at a faster pace than anybody could ever think of, because it incorporates a lot of those things. It incorporates AI, incorporates uh, machine learning, it incorporates uh, just algorithms that may live in within a black box. But at the same time, a lot of marketers tried they're a little bit more hesitant because many of these times they just don't work. Their
Right.
ideas, their theories, they're just okay. It's a nice new shiny object that people want to go after, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So the people that do adopt it early and it works, they benefit. But the people that adopt it early and it doesn't work, they end up losing a lot of money. Trust me, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars here.
That makes so much sense, especially in the digital marketing,
Mhm.
world. So would you say the worst advice you could give a digital marketer is to just go with the flow?
I would say so. I would say tread with caution, my friend.
Instead, is that what you would say instead?
I would say tread with caution, even though it is a very highly technical field. I would
Why
say
tread with caution?
because not everything is good for your client. Not everything fits well. I say find things that fit well instead of finding things that are actually like new and up and coming. Like take for example NFTs. NFTs.
Hmm.
It I don't think it was there are use cases for NFTs. Don't get me wrong. And the early stages of COVID, NFTs kind of blew up in 2020, where you saw like Bored Apes and all the other uh, NFTs that came up. And the only reason people were interested is because of the value that it brought. That someone would think that, okay, well, this piece of artwork can sell for thousands of dollars. I should get into it. And the only intricate value that that image or that JPEG had was monetary in digital currency. And people
Right.
only got into it because of the money. They didn't get into it for the artwork. They didn't get into it because of anything else. You need to figure out why does this technology exist? Is it helping you? What has
Hmm.
NFT done? To be honest, what has it done for us as a like as humans?
Nothing
Has
life
it
changing.
solved what kind of issue has it solved? That's what I want to know.
Hmm. Hmm.
I don't know. I don't think there's any other thing or a new technology or things that has happened in the past year that serves no better than a greater example of change of, and then nobody stops to ask why do we need NFTs?
Hmm. Hmm. How would we go about like connecting that as a question for ourselves so that we're not, what I mean? I think I'm starting to get where you're coming from with going with the flow. That it's not always a good thing to just keep doing that,
Yeah.
and you do need to step out of that flow or even possibly go against the flow to stand out, especially in the entrepreneurial world. So, with the question that you had earlier, like why NFTs? Why do we need to enact this change?
Mhm.
How can we fashion a question for entrepreneurs so they can enact the change and so that they're assured that they're not always going with the flow and doing something different?
Hmm.
What do you think is a powerful question? Just throw out there for
I would
that.
say if what you're doing currently works, keep doing that. And what you're doing does not work, change it up. Do something different. And then if adopting new technology is a good route and you have the finances and then it makes sense for the business, go for it. Take the chance. But if you're doing something and it works and then you have to think, am I transitioning, putting all my eggs in this basket or just dipping my toes in it? You have to decide that as a business owner. And that's what I feel like, to that question that you just asked. As a business owner, what would you tell someone that is in a business when it comes to adopting new technologies? For this example, oh well, your business works right now very well, what you need is NFTs and that will take your business further. Okay,
Yeah.
well, tell me, why would it? Like, what are the returns on that? And then give me solid facts, because sometimes it doesn't work for everybody.
No, I agree. It's not for everybody. Entrepreneurship isn't as well.
It isn't for
You
everybody.
know? Yeah. What I will say though is that I do I do agree with what you say about the, the entire thing being a river and
Mhm.
trying new things. So when you constantly try new things, what when you try that specific thing, you're a different person as you try it. You gain more experience as you try it. So the more you try new things, the more you discover new things and just integrate new things into your business or into your personal life as an entrepreneur. Each time you try something new, you get better at trying something new.
You do, you do, and then you just kind of eliminate that little voice in your head. You know, that little voice tells you, "Oh, you should have done this, you should have done that," or "You're gonna
Mhm.
regret it if you don't do it." You eliminate that little voice because you actually tried it, and if it didn't work, well, it didn't work. But the most valuable commodity we have is our time. And that said, if you're going to be spending time on one thing and neglecting the others, then okay, that's the decision you have to make as a business owner. Do you want to exert yourself and place yourself in this position with that is new just because of all the hype, and then
Yeah.
that's what people say? You just have to make sure that you know where it fits in your business. And I have several questions for you too, so we can go
Shoot.
back. Yeah, my question for you is, okay, so why would going with the flow be in the best interest when dealing with change? I want to. That's a good question to ask you.
So
Yeah.
where my take was when with going with the flow, it's a more personal thing for me. Like relinquishing control, accepting change. And when I go with the flow, I feel like I'm more present. I'm calm. And at the same time, I have zero expectations. Or I may have all the expectations in the world. You know what I mean? When I say I'm just gonna go with the flow. Either I don't know what's gonna happen, and I'm completely okay with that. Ray will fucking take care of everything as he usually does when I'm in New York.
No.
Or I could have all the expectations in the world, be like, hey, I've got this goal, and that goal. I'm just gonna put that energy out in the universe. I'm gonna do my best every single day, and I'm just gonna put that in flow, and let's just run with that.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
So,
That's how it's
but
more
I
like of a,
didn't. I
a
you know what? I
state of
didn't hear you.
mind.
I didn't hear you tie this back to a business though. I heard you say more so like when it comes to traveling, when it comes to like, I guess networking or something that's personal. I guess we also talked about this in the previous episode about
Hmm.
the separation between like your personal life and business. But when it comes
We
to
did talk about
business,
that.
yeah, tell me
I feel like
how do
when
you?
it comes to business, the best way to connect it is that going with the flow, once you enter that mind state, it's a gateway to actual flow,
Mhm.
which Ray and I did cover when we were still on Clubhouse. I believe we
Yeah.
covered that December. how to activate your flow state.
Yes.
Yep, I believe it was how to activate your flow state on Clubhouse. Please check that out, guys, when you can. We were on Clubhouse before we hopped on live here on YouTube, and so I believe, yeah, just getting into that mind state, going with the flow. I feel like that's a gateway to your flow state where you're in a just in the zone, all focus, all productivity, and you're just getting everything done. That's how I would connect that to the business part of it.
When you activate your flow state.
Yep,
Now we're
when you
getting a little bit
activate your flow state.
more. We're getting a little bit more meta in that sense, where we're diving deeper in. I guess for me, there's a difference between going with the flow and then activating your flow state. Going with the flow for me feels more okay. There is no real plan. There's just
Mm-hmm.
you're just going, you're just doing, you're cruising, you're on cruise control, and you're just
Yep.
letting life pass by as it should. And in your flow state, you're more in a concentrated bubble, if you might say, where you're just doing what you're doing. But for me, is like, okay, I've done it 100 times before. Now I'm in my flow state where I can work on something and just not be distracted for any external noise that comes through.
Yeah, I feel like it can be either or of those two.
Mm.
You know, I think you took a more philosophical approach with this one, with the river and all that stuff. I stuck with that flow thing, but that river stuff was good, man. And I like how you connect that to the digital marketing portion of it. No, that was really good.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, I just, I don't know. When I think of the world passing by and just not being an active participant in the world, thinking that, okay, everything is just going to be pieced together by itself without any effort whatsoever. I don't know. To me, it feels as if that's what everybody's doing. That's what everybody does. Entrepreneurs, they don't do that. They don't go with the sheep. They don't go with what everybody else is doing. They make their
Mm-hmm.
own path. They craft their own narrative. And I think that if you're an entrepreneur, yes, there will be moments where you're cruising. You might want to go with the flow, but most often than not, you're figuring out ways on how you can make things consistent and how you can turn a revenue, turn a profit on your business. And just going with the flow means that you're staying stagnant and not letting and not going, like, I don't know, growing and not growing.
Yeah, you're stuck.
You're just stuck.
You know what? I also want to quickly add to that is for the entrepreneurs out there, it it doesn't always have to be just one flow for everybody. You know, you could create your own flow as well. I'm sure
Mm.
y'all have heard the quote, if if not enough opportunities are knocking on your door, build your own damn doors.
Oh
You know
yeah.
what I mean? So, you don't have to reinvent the wheel or anything like that. But if you want to move on a certain idea, you've got your own little twist to it, you've added your own flavor to it, go ahead and create that flow,
Mhm.
your own flow. Grab your best friend, make them hop on that flow with you. That's what Super Ray and I did here at the
Oh
Business
yeah.
Temple. You know what I mean? And not too much planning went into this, but the consistency really helped it evolve to
Yeah.
what it is today. And it's continuing. The podcast, of course, continuing to evolve to what it will be in the future. And yeah, man, I really love how what you said just inspired me to just create your own flow.
Yeah. Create your own flow. And in that regard, do you think that, well, going with the flow or even creating your own flow, would that necessarily make you happier? Would you, as a business owner, stressed out, worrying about the
I
next
think,
thing, or is it make you happier just going with the flow?
I mean,
Because I don't know how many business owners that sign up to be an entrepreneur and say, "Hey, my life is going to be easier now that I'm an entrepreneur."
yeah. But I would say yes. I mean, I agree that it definitely won't be easier, but there will be more satisfaction. And I think at
Mm,
the end of the day, when you're sleeping at night, satisfaction, fulfillment, a good conscience is a good pillow to have. So I would say creating your own flow and going with that flow. Yep, that'll make you happier.
mm. That sounds like the takeaway of the day here. Create your
Yes,
own flow
sir.
because that will
Create
make
your
you
own
happy.
flow. There we go.
Mm. Well, how do you go about creating your own flow? Let's, give us some tips, Alex. How do I go about creating my own flow?
Well, I have started a few businesses,
Hmm.
at least four. I'm starting my fifth one. And each time I'm prompted to create my own flow when I just can't pierce that market or industry simply
Hmm.
because I don't have enough experience or I don't have enough certifications, this and that. But my the main thing that I think about is that when there's an industry that I can't pierce or there's a role that I can't get and I just want to create my own space within it,
Hmm.
I have a few tools. So one is the lean canvas. If I would The fact that I know how to make a business plan is really a game changer.
Hmm.
So business plan, a marketing plan, all that stuff. And there's a bunch of one pagers for that now. And that's the best advice that I could give. If you could just pick up how to create a business plan and a marketing plan, you'll be able to create your own business model, your own flow with any role or industry that you want to pierce. So that
Mm.
was just learning how to start a business, the steps that I take for that. I've been taking the same steps for a couple of years. My template hasn't changed, and I'm sharing it to everyone here. Just use the lean canvas, LEAN. It's a one pager business model. I've shared it with Ray before, and we've been working on that since. It's easy to
Yeah,
take action on it. So hope y'all can create your flow that way.
I that's very
Eh,
profound, brother. I see
Thanks.
what you mean. I see what you mean, and I do want to add to that a little bit.
Hmm.
And you had to discover what flow you want to like. For example, you said you dabbled in areas where you might not be familiar with, but you still
Yeah.
had some sense of an idea of where you wanted to go eventually. And to me, I see the flow as being like a river. We'll use the river analogy,
Hmm.
but that foundation, that passion is like at the top where all that flow is coming from.
Yeah.
And having that, understanding that, then letting the river flow and then changing direction as you go, figuring out which way your flow should go through. I think that to me makes the most sense in my head. Like that's how I envision it. That's how I envision the
Hmm.
business,
Big
where it's
picture.
a big lake up north with rivers coming, flowing through the middle like the Mississippi, and then switching
Hmm.
direction all the way through.
There you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on the set here at the Business Temple. Super Ray, always a pleasure, my
Always a
friend.
pleasure. What is one takeaway you want to give people? I know you said it before.
Oh, I'm gonna say it again. Create your own flow, peoples. Create your own flow.
And for me, I do want to end it with the Heraclitus quote, which is, "No man ever steps in the same river twice, for it is not the same river as he is not the same
This is
man,
it.
and nothing there is nothing permanent except change."
There you
Yeah.
go. On that. All right. Thank you for starting your weekend right over here at Business Temple. Subscribe and stay consistent with us every single weekend at our new time, 9 a.m. PT, 12 p.m. ET. Subscribe on our YouTube, subscribe on our Instagram, follow us on Facebook. We are live on YouTube every weekend. Go ahead, Ray. Any last words?
I'm good. I think you covered it all. We're here live every single weekend at Saturdays at our new time, actually, at 12 p.m., 9 a.m. Pacific time. So join Super Alex. I'm Super Ray, signing off. Till the next one. Peace.
Peace.